This is my very good friend, Joe Dobbins at the Grand Canyon. I really want you to hear what he has to say because it's really important for the context of this video, and not just for this video, but for this entire channel.
Every journey begins with a single step, driven by a purpose and fueled by determination. Today, I stand on the verge of a 45-mile trek across the Grand Canyon twice, known as R3, SKNKBA. Not as a testament to what I've done, but as a promise to myself to strive to achieve hard things. We set goals, not as destinations, but as guiding stars. Here's to every step, every challenge, and every relentless pursuit of our dreams. Last time I did this same hike was 38 and a half years ago. Now at age 57, after 60 pounds of weight loss, over 500 miles of training, over a dozen times down into the canyon, and a lot of coaching from Carl and Jared, I'm again ready. So rim to rim to rim, here I come.
Isn't that awesome? This video is for people who feel like, I'm getting older, I'm slowing down. It's getting worse and worse every year. What can I do? Is there anything I can do? What's the point? It's just gonna keep going downhill every year. It can be depressing, right? I know, because that's how I felt in my early to mid 40s when I really started to feel things slowing down. The overall concept of this channel is longevity, which is made up of health span and lifespan. Lifespan meaning how long you live, and health span meaning how healthy you are during that time. Or how I like to say it is how much life you have while you're still breathing. And that's the part that I like to focus on. Now here's a guy who went through a very difficult divorce. And it came out of nowhere. It was unexpected, and it hit him harder than a ton of bricks. Suddenly his life was completely turned upside down. And at age 55, as part of his own healing process, he decides to go to the Grand Canyon. I'm gonna hike the Grand Canyon. And this started a couple of years ago, and though that, he started 2 years ago, most of the progress that he's made, that we're going to talk about today, happened in the last year. Now his goal has been to do the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim and do it in 24 hours. That is a big deal. And that really can't be overstated. That is a big deal. And before you say, oh, that's not for me, I could never do that, and it's not really something that I would ever want to do, don't click off on this video, because you're going to see that you do not need to do the Grand Canyon to make big changes in your life, to put more life into your life. We're going to talk about some very simple things that he's done that anyone can do. And he's not doing anything really extreme. So first, let's talk about his biological age. Joe is 57 years old and his biological age is 39. I asked him, do you feel like you're 39? He said, no, not really, but I do feel like I'm probably in my 40s. Now he used a bioscanner at the gym to determine his biological age. We'll stop right there. I know that the bioscanner at the gym is not going to be very accurate. It's much better to do a blood test. Now I know that, and he knows that. So before people start blasting away in the comments, let me share with you a little more context. So last year, October 2022, around this same time, he was 56 years old and his biological age was also 56. He was a little disappointed by that. Now he used that same bioscanner at the gym, so he does at least have something to compare it to. And it shows that the scanner is measuring a change. And I also used that same bioscanner around that same time at the same gym, and it said my biological age was 44. I was 51 at the time. I also did a blood test through Inside Tracker, and according to my blood test, my biological age was 42. So that tells me that though it's not 100% accurate, the bioscanner at the gym can at least give us a ballpark number that can still be helpful. One last point I like to mention here. Let's say that if the bioscanner that Joe used to measure his biological age was off by even 10 years, and I don't think it is, meaning that it's showing him to be 10 years younger biologically than he actually is, it would still mean that his biological age is 49 compared to his chronological age of 57. That would be a difference of 8 years, which is still very significant. So with that out of the way, what did he do? Let's start with intermittent fasting. So he's been doing intermittent fasting. Now his version of intermittent fasting has been just not eating anything after about 6 or 6:30 at night. So he doesn't eat in the evenings. He says that he has about an 11-hour eating window. Now, people in the intermittent fasting world, people who are really into fasting, they'll say, wait a minute, is that even really fasting at all? That's a very generous eating window. And I want to make that point because it shows you that he's really not doing anything super extreme. And it's something that is doable for pretty much anybody. And just making that one change has been very helpful for him. So what about nutrition? You may be surprised to know that he's not following some labeled diet, some really extreme diet like keto or vegan or carnivore or something else. He said that all he's done really is replace all meat, meaning like red meat and chicken, with fish or some kind of seafood. So he said that he eats salmon about 3 to 4 times per week. And if it's not salmon, then he likes to eat shrimp. So this tells me that he's getting quite a bit more omega-3s than he was previously, which of course is making a difference. I texted him recently and asked him about sugar. Did you make any changes there? And he said, here, let me read this to you. Let's see. Previously, I was eating something sweet almost every day. I changed to eating something sweet maybe once a week or once every other week. And that's it for nutrition. Can you imagine? Instead of trying to eliminate sugar from your diet 100% all of the time, that you just reduce it. Now, obviously that's reducing it significantly depending on what you're used to. He's going from something every single day to once per week or once every other week. You know, he's eating dessert maybe once a week. Eat dessert once every other week. People can do that. That's doable. And you know, you get an opportunity to enjoy something and the rest of the week you're avoiding it. You can look forward to it and next time it comes up. Pretty cool. I really like that approach. Okay, so what about exercise? What about all this training that he's been doing? So I asked him about that, and I asked him about how many miles do you average per week? Now we're talking about running and hiking. And he said in the past 18 months, he's averaged 11.5 miles per week. Now this includes any rest and recovery weeks as well. It's important to point out that this is running on a trail. He's running and hiking on a trail, and much of that has been going up hills, which is a little bit different, right, than a light jog or brisk walk around the neighborhood. That said, you got to start somewhere, and a light jog or brisk walk around the neighborhood can be very powerful over time. And you would imagine that for what he's trying to accomplish, he'd be doing far more than that, right? You see, it's not about the big efforts occasionally. The real power for lasting change comes from doing small things consistently over time. And we can see that he's absolutely shown that. This is doable for almost anyone. And obviously, you start small and work up to it. But if you ran or walked 4 days a week for 3 miles each day, you're at 12 miles per week. If you ran or walked 3 days a week for 4 miles each day, you're at 12 miles a week. Or if you do, say you did 6 days per week, 2 miles each day, you're at 12 miles per week. Lots of different ways to break it down. You get the idea. And again, you're gonna start small and work up to that. You're not just gonna go out and do that right away. So after all of this, you're probably asking, well, what about supplements? Does he take any supplements? You'd be surprised to know that he doesn't take a bunch of supplements. He takes a digestive enzyme and something for liver support. That's it. And he showed them to me. I just can't remember the name of the brands. But the point is, he doesn't take a ton of supplements, this big, huge list, right? It's just those 2 things. Not eating past 6 o'clock at night, replacing meat with fish, eating something sweet only 1 time per week or once every other week, running or hiking 11.5 miles per week, reduced Joe's biological age significantly. I wonder, what could it do for you?